first of all, let's take a look back at Iowa and Kent State. Of course, hopefully, if you haven't already done so, get over to Iowa at the Voice of College Football on YouTube, because you can check out all of our post-game coverage from every Iowa game, win or loss. And we are joined each and every week on that channel by former Iowa coach Don Patterson. And Don brings his A game each and every week. So check out our post-game coverage over there if you haven't already. My overall takeaways from Saturday: the run game looked better. They weren't huge lanes. Tyler Goodson ran the ball well, ran the ball effectively. We learned that Ivory Kelly-Martin has, I think at this point, concerning ball security issues. Kirk Ferentz sort of downplayed his concern with his senior running back during his press conference this week. But there's no question, I mean, he's going to be on a short leash. I thought, I was surprised, to be completely honest, when Kirk let Ivory Kelly-Martin carry the ball after his first fumble on Saturday, because let's remember, Kelly-Martin coughed one up against Indiana. He also coughed one up against Iowa State, although it was called back because the ground caused the fumble. But nonetheless, that just proves Kelly-Martin has some issues right now protecting the football. And you've got to protect the football if you're a ball carrier, especially in the Big Ten Conference. The good news of what we saw on Saturday as far as that running back 2 position, we saw Gavin Williams, young guy out of Des Moines, really come in and play well. Protected the football, runs hard. He's more of that bell cow, bruising type back. And he also caught a pass or two out of the backfield. He looked good. We saw LaShawn Williams come in late in the game. He looked solid. Iowa's got options. Running back's not a concern. As far as depth at running back, it was a concern probably prior to fall camp, at least for me. But from what I've heard, again, and some of this is based off of what I've heard from Don Patterson himself, and then, of course, what we saw Saturday, I'm just not concerned with the Williams brothers coming in and spelling Tyler Goodson if need be. Now, Ivory Kelly-Martin has proved he's a solid runner. I think he's ran the ball well. If you look at his numbers, he may have a better average than Tyler Goodson if you take away the big plays of Tyler Goodson. Of course, those inflate Tyler's numbers, but if you take those, 3 big plays from Tyler Goodson, take those away, and I think Ivory Kelly-Martin is running just as well, if not better, than Tyler Goodson. The difference is Tyler is protecting the football right now, and Kelly-Martin is not. So that's a concern. Do we see Gavin Williams start Saturday? Do we see LaShawn Williams get some snaps as well? I think we'll see Ivory Kelly-Martin, at least initially. I would not be surprised to see Gavin Williams get some work. I mean, why not? Obviously, Ivory Kelly-Martin has to prove himself during practice, and hopefully he's doing that right now as we record this podcast. But again, there are concerns, no question, at that running back position. Tyler Goodson, again, ran the ball well. Let's take a look back at the numbers for Iowa, because obviously offense has been the topic of conversation for most people because it's been a struggle. And there's no question, it's been a struggle for the Hawkeyes 3 games in. And of course, these first 2 games against very solid defensive fronts, especially Iowa State. But Iowa did rush the ball for 206 yards. Okay, that's a healthy number against anybody. Again, we get it. We're playing, you're playing a MAC opponent. I think this is probably one of the better teams in the MAC, but it is still a MAC opponent. Yards per pass attempt, under 6 yards per pass attempt. That's atrocious. I made the comparison after the game that it looked a little bit Greg Davis-y, and I don't think that's by design. I think part of it is by design because I don't think this coaching staff, and this is something that Don Patterson agrees with, this coaching staff does not have a lot of faith in Spencer Petras right now. As much as they want to tell you they've got a lot of faith in Spencer, they don't have a lot of faith in Spencer. They have enough faith in Spencer to play Spencer over Alex Padilla and Deuce Hogan, but we're not seeing many go routes. We're not seeing anything as far as many intricate designs from a passing standpoint, and I think that's a sign that the ceiling right now is high for Spencer given his intangibles. He's got a big arm. He's a pro-style quarterback. He fits in well with the Iowa system, but he's not seeing the field like you'd hoped he would be at this point. There's just no question. I can't sugarcoat that. He's not seeing the field like you want him to. I hear fans every week say, well, he's missing guys. At the game, I see open players on the field. I don't question that at all because, we saw that last year from Spencer, and we hope for a bigger jump than what we've gotten. Now, can he make improvement? Can he connect on some deep balls? I think Spencer has an accurate arm, for the most part. He does miss simple throws. It's kind of odd, and Don brought this up this week. He will overthrow out routes. I mean, simple 5-and-out routes routinely, and that's odd. I don't know what the reason for that is. It does seem like Spencer is very much, I don't want to say controlled, but guided by the mental aspect of being a quarterback. And I mean by that Spencer seems to either be in a flow or he's not, and sometimes it snowballs on him. You'll see him kind of clap his hands when he makes a bad pass, and you just feel like he's not always locked in. He obviously gets jittery. We see that. Nerves seem to play a role. Again, we're at a point now where he's been on the road at Iowa State. He played Indiana at Rock. I mean, I don't think there's going to be environments. I mean, if you lasted in that Iowa State game, I think he'll be just fine. That was honestly, it was okay. I thought he played okay against Iowa State. What did he get, like 110 passing yards? But he didn't turn the ball over, and he did have a nice drive or two in that game. But again, as it relates to Kent State, the running game looked better. That should help Spencer. We didn't see much from Charlie Jones. We did see Tyrone Tracy get involved. Tracy ended up on the day with 5 catches for 43 yards. Now, big play threats just aren't there right now. Sam Laporte ended up with 65 yards on 7 catches. Okay, Nico Reganey did have a 48-yard catch and run. That's about the extent of big plays for Iowa on Saturday. They've got to throw the ball down the field. I know we've been saying that forever. We continue to say it year after year, but I say it more now with this quarterback because Nate Stanley at least showed the ability to do so, as did just about every quarterback that I can think of besides James Vandenberg, and much of Vandenberg's issues, I think, were coach design, route trees, etc. But nonetheless, Iowa's got to get the ball downfield. The running game helps. I said that last week. If they get the running game going, that opens up play action. I did not think, and this is a critique of Brian Ferentz, I'm no coach myself, but my opinion on Brian is that I didn't think Brian involved play action enough on Saturday, and maybe he's saving that. I don't think coaches do that typically, but what do I know? I thought they could have used a little bit more play action and given Spencer some opportunities to throw deep, but at the same time, Iowa didn't really get away from Kent State until late in that third quarter. I mean, it was potentially going to be a 2-point game had that fumble not occurred near the goal line that Riley Moss recovered. So Iowa's in an interesting position here. The run game looked better. Pass game, I didn't see much improvement at all, to be completely honest with you. I said that during the post-game show. But the run game did look better. Does it have room for improvement still? Yes. Kyler Schott played this last week, but it was his first game back after a broken foot. He's going to have to get his feet under him. This is a good opportunity this week against Colorado State to do so. As far as the defense is concerned, solid again. You give up 7 points. I don't care who you're playing. Obviously a solid day. Riley Moss is going to get picked on. He got picked on a couple times, got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, as some of our listeners like to say, a couple times. And he's going to have to be careful. We saw that against Indiana, that he took advantage of a couple poor decisions from Michael Penix. But you're not going to get away with that every week. And if you if you try to jump a route or you get your eyes caught in the backfield, you're going to get burned. And the Kent State receiver, let me pull up his name here. Abram, 6 catches, 138 yards. He burned Moss on a couple of different routes, and then he burned Dane Belton. Got inside leverage and killed him for a touchdown. So, there are things to work on if you're Phil Parker in this defense. And boy, I don't want to say that was a lucky play. I don't believe in luck personally, but the fumble at the goal line, that was just a bonehead play, all right, by the ball carrier for Kent State. And Riley Moss, give him credit. Give Justin Jacobs credit. He was in on the play. Jack Campbell was in on that play as well. But Iowa got away with one there. The defense still looks solid. I mean, there's no question about it. Again, we're trying to rate this team based on a MAC performance. But again, 3-0, and they have not allowed more than 17 points this season. And in the other 2 games, they allowed 6 and 7, respectively. So far, so good from a defensive standpoint. We keep saying that week after week. Obviously, they'll be tested more in the coming weeks.